Welcome back to the Two Dudes, Three Legs podcast with your hosts, Zach Dingy.
Tony Capoletti.
Today we're sitting down with the gutter guys.
So whether you're starting a business, whether you're trying to make a sports career, whatever it is, it all starts believing in yourself. And until you have that, you can't do anything.
Step directly into the storm and fight everything you can. You need to be a warrior.
We got him all the way from Toronto. Like I said before in our meeting, this is Drake's cousin because I feel like if you're from Toronto, you have to know Drake. Is that a thing? How often do you get asked if you know Drake?
Oh my goodness. Whenever you say you're Canadian, everyone asks me, all right, like, do you know Drake? And I'm like, yeah, he's my neighbor. Like, you know, just because we both live in Canada.
That's so weird. They don't ask about Justin?
Oh, that guy.
All right. Have you ever met Drake?
No, I have not.
Okay. Well, you can leave now.
Proper introductions, right? We got Tristan and Jackson.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you guys run Gutter Guys, and what's the other name of the
So yeah, we run Gutter Guys, and then we also run a window cleaning company called Blue Diamond, and it keeps us very busy.
How long you been running Gutter Guys?
Gutter Guys started in 2018 with just me and my other brother. This guy kind of joined just later on.
Freeloader.
Yeah, freeloader. He comes in when all the hard work is done. No, I'm just kidding.
How old do you think Tristan is?
Tristan is, because you asked me, he's 19.
There you go. Wow.
You knew, you heard. He
It's
must have
insulting.
heard.
Everyone thinks I'm the older brother.
I really guessed that, and I'm actually impressed at myself. But
I'm impressed that you just guessed that he's 19.
I would have guessed older until you said that. The way you said it.
It was misleading.
It was revealing.
Everyone ages me 10 years.
Look at his voice too when he says it.
It's
It
depressing.
ages me 10 years. All right, so you've been running Gutter Guys since 2018, and
You started it.
Yeah, so it was me and my brother, the other brother. We started 2018, and then honestly, the first couple of years was when we were still in school, and so it was a bunch of bullshit. We weren't really trying. It's kind of like a part-time job, you could say.
How do you get into gutters?
So originally, I was actually selling water filters for a company. Hated it. From there, I met a guy there who was like, "Yo, I'm starting my window cleaning." I was like, "Oh, cool, I'll join you because I hate this place." And then after like 2-3 months, I could tell he wasn't that serious about continually running it. So I told my brother, "Yo, let's do this." People were selling jobs. So we did it kind of part-time. It was more of like, we print some business cards. It says CEO, we're the owners, we run our own business. But really we work like, 20 days that whole entire summer. And like we started at like 12, we'd sleep in, work 2 jobs, and then be like, good day's work, time to hit the bars now and tell people, give the girls our cards saying CEO,
Yo, that's
And so it was more of a flex more than anything, honestly, but our bank accounts we're definitely not flexing with those.
Yeah.
And plus I was playing basketball and he was going to school. So it was kind of just, a whatever thing, better than, working at McDonald's. I was always telling myself, at least I'm learning something. If I'm not earning, I'm learning. And so that was kind of the philosophy that pushed us through, is that, even though our bank accounts don't show it, at least we're learning skills than just flipping burgers.
And why did it click when you started getting real serious about business and in this mode you're in now, we work 24/7 and are really trying to get to the next level?
COVID. So I was in school. I was running it. I was in school playing basketball, running the business, obviously doing a lot of things. COVID happened, things shut down, business and basketball and school kind of were a lot less. And so I was like, might as well put my time in. I actually went to Barbados to visit my grandpa during COVID right before flights, everything got shut down, picked up Rich Dad Poor Dad. And then I was like, oh shit, you can actually learn something from books. So then that was kind of the first domino into me picking up more books and reading. And then I went on to Valuetainment, saw PBD's not podcast, but the actual
the Valuetainment stuff.
Valuetainment.
Yeah. His
old stuff about like first hires, stuff like that. And so that's when I started really going into his stuff. And he was obviously, preaching about, you got to be reading, you got to be, doing the hard shit, leading the charge if you want your organization to do well. And so just started consuming all of his content. I've watched. You could quiz me about PD. I swear I'll probably get them all down.
Yeah, I'm not going to hold you. I'm probably the exact same. I think I know every single fact about that guy.
Every fact. If you ask me about his history, his upbringing, what he did, when he, where he's from, I could tell you the whole thing. So that guy really helped me kind of, kickstart and realize that I was not doing nothing and I didn't really have a business. I honestly barely had a side hustle.
Right.
Yeah. So then from there, just kind of started picking up and then we started growing faster and that's when more problems arise. But then I realized business is the future. Basketball is not. I certainly was not good enough to go to the NBA. And so Then I was like, business.
You went to the Volt. SLS was your first thing, or Volt?
No, I went to the Vault 2023.
Okay.
That was super cool.
We were there.
What kind of experience was it in 2023? I know. We
Yeah,
didn't
did
meet
you?
him in 2023.
But you spoke. Did you speak at the Vault in 2023? Did you like speak on like take the mic and say
Yes,
anything?
he did.
Yeah, I did.
I think I remember
Yeah.
you, but I didn't like really realize until when I saw you at the SLS, and then I was like, I've seen this guy, I've heard him before.
Yeah.
And
Well, at
that's
the SLS, I was speaking the whole fucking
the whole fucking
conference.
time, and I was like, and that's why after one of the breaks when you had asked about, it was the objections when he's like, "What are your objections?" and you just nailed. He asked you the objection, you said it right away. He asked a different objection, said it right away, and then he went back to the first one. You said it the same way with the same like response. I was like, this guy knows his shit. So then during the break, I was like, I went up to, I was like, yo, let me talk to this guy.
Yeah.
And then, I went to the Vault first, 2023 with my other brother. We're like, holy shit, this is crazy. Like
Life changing
for sure. Like if you take anybody there, like the reason it went from probably 200 the first year to like 1,000 to 3,000 last year
to
to
now 10,000.
to 10,000, it's so obvious why. Like you go there and now I'm bringing him, I'm bringing a couple other guys. Like it's like you want all your friends to come there because they're all going to start to see shit differently, even though we're all kind of the same. When you go there and meet other people, it just opens your
Tristan,
mind.
you've never been?
No,
Okay,
never.
so it's going to be your first year. I think most people, I think there's still a stigma around like you go to a conference and they're just going to sell you something and it's all this rah bullshit.
Yeah.
And like most people don't understand that if you go to these conferences, the amount of information and things you learn in 24 hours is like, it's like 30 books. Because when you read books, your state of energy is so low and it's so hard to retain information. Like when you read a book and then an hour later you're like, yo, what chapter did you just read? What'd you read about? You're like, I don't know. It was good though. I know it was good.
It was great. Yeah.
Yeah. When you go to these conferences, you're like, this guy said this and this guy said this and here's what this and I took this from this and I took like.
Yeah, they give you actionable steps in a workbook where you fucking sit there and write down what you're going to do when you go home, and then you can actually implement it.
Yeah, but I think your energy when you're there, how
on top
often,
of the fact that you're sitting there in the same room as Mike Tyson, Tom Brady,
Oh, yeah.
and Will Guidara, so you're writing the shit down and you're taking it seriously.
But my point I was going to get at is how often when you're there are you writing notes about your things in business that have nothing to do with what they're talking about, but because you're in this room and this space with these people, you start writing things like, oh, that's how I solved that problem, or oh, this is the system I need to make, and it
You
has
start
nothing to
thinking
do.
on a different frequency.
Correct.
Well, that
That's
was
my
it.
point.
I mean, when he brought out the book last year is like, oh, sales, here's my sales manual. Here's this manual. Here's this manual. I'm like, we're in business now 6 years and we don't have any manuals on anything. Like this is insanity. And so we went back and started building them up, and now we've got a digital manual where you've got a lot of systems and processes in place. And obviously it's a constant work in progress. It's not going to end, but going from zero to something is huge. And so that was probably one of the biggest takeaways from last year's Vault. There was obviously a lot of other ones, just being there, seeing the guy, seeing his presence and his aura, and just the way that he, like, you can tell he commands respect. When he walks in the room, right away, you're just like, this guy knows, he's putting the work. Like, let's just shut the fuck up and listen to this guy. It's because he's probably gonna say some good shit that I need to hear.
Yeah, seriously.
100%. And that's where we met. For those who don't know, me and we met at the Sales Leadership Summit, which I would argue the Sales Leadership Summit is more impactful than the Volt. Because I think it's more direct, and the Volt is a little bit more of like a show. There's still a lot of shit you're going to learn. It's still very, very high level information and very actionable things. But then there's like 20% of it where Mike Tyson's on stage and you're just there like, yo, I'm not taking a note, bro. I just want to listen to Mike Tyson talk.
100%.
You know?
100%. The Vault is more broad business.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're at the sales leadership, it's like direct. And I could totally see, we don't have a sales team yet, but that gave me goosebumps the entire time. Like I came back and I was like, yo, like that was some crazy shit. We don't have a sales team, but we really, really need one. Yeah. And there's a whole booklet literally breaking everything down. Like obviously for you guys have 70 sales reps, but that takeaway for me was like just a different lens to look at business and look at sales and realize I'm still a big cog in the wheel of my business, and having that sales team and having that culture is really what's going to take us from where we are now to the next level, which is where we have to go.
Well, I mean, even the entire time that he was there, this guy was texting me. He's like, these guys are crushing it. We're doing nothing. And then he's like, I met this guy, Zac. He's a gangster. We got to go see him in New York. It was crazy.
Well, yeah, it just completely shifts your perception of how good you're doing. Like I was there And I swear to you, after like 3 people I asked what they do and how much they're doing, I did not want to say. I'm like, $1 million a year, I literally felt like I was embarrassed. Like I had a lemonade stand outside compared to all these guys that are doing, 20, 50, 100 million. I'm like, it's great because now however good I was feeling saying, back home, like, oh yeah, $1 million, that's literally nothing. Like that's actually the smallest thing ever. And like, that's nothing to be bragging about whatsoever. And so it's just nice being able to get that perspective switch from,
you get in those rooms with those people. And
it's nice to be humbled.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And
it'll
just
motivate the shit out of you.
Yeah.
100%.
So, all right, speaking of which, why come to New York to visit this office?
Well, I mean, again, meeting at the sales leadership summit, I was like, this guy knows something. I've always gone out. So there was a guy in Ottawa 4 years ago that was bigger than us. Me and my brother got in a car, drove out there, talked to him, watched his stuff, learned from him, came back to London. Then I met a guy in London that was doing big things. I DM'd him, went to go see him. Then there was a guy in Toronto who was doing the window and gutter cleaning business, doing like 3-4 million. Drove out there to go see him. I'll just drive and go see them. It's one thing doing a Zoom, but when you come here, you show first and foremost the person that you value their time. You appreciate them hopping on a call with you and taking you seriously, because there's nothing more annoying than somebody asking for help and you give them your time and then you call them 3 weeks or 6 weeks later and they haven't done shit. It's like, why the hell are you calling me? Well, like, I'm not wasting my time with you at all. Mm-hmm. But when you see somebody taking what you're telling them and actually applying it and then coming back and asking for more, it's like a sign of, okay, this guy gets it. Let me see what else I can help this guy with. And so that's the lens I always take is, let's hop in a car and let's go, or let's hop on a plane and let's fly to wherever I can, wherever the next guy is. And somebody who's maybe at, you guys are obviously way ahead, but somebody who's way far ahead of you might not be able to help you, but somebody who's at least a little bit or in a specific niche of the part of the business that can help you is very helpful. And so I saw that and I'm like, I don't have any, you have a lot. Even if I can just take a few things from this meeting, I already know we're going to go back there and implement a lot of shit because we know we need it. But I like coming in person. I like to show that, I appreciate and value your guys' time, and it just makes the experience better.
Yeah.
Now, how long are you here for?
Tuesday to Friday. So we got here Tuesday night late and we're leaving Friday morning. So technically Wednesday, Thursday, but we drove. So it's like 9 hours, something like 10 hours.
Any big takeaway so far?
Well, I mean, the obvious one, we don't have sales reps. We have us two and one other guy. So I guess 3, but as owners, you can't be selling this from other things. But just seeing the team, seeing the guys you have, seeing the type of guys you've attracted, seeing what your meetings look like, the leaderboards, all that stuff. I just see how that pushes guys. Like I was in there, I was like, damn, like I want to go there and make a sale. Like I want my name on that board. Yeah. And so I know
this is all a trick just to recruit you guys.
And so I was just like, that I like, and that's what I want to take. Obviously there's other things, but I just think seeing the culture in the room with the leaderboards and kind of holding guys accountable, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Culture will bring people in.
I mean, it's even just like you said, like motivation is everything. Like when we got here, it's like, okay, damn, we got to go back. We got to go to work. Like we have work to do.
Yeah. It's interesting for me too. I'm asking out of curiosity because Bryce has been telling me forever to do consulting and to do coaching and things like that. And I've always pushed it off because I'm so narrow focused on on solar. And when we went to the SLS, I had like 50 people talk to me about consulting and ask me all these questions. And then 100% what you just said is like, you guys took action and came here, and it's fucking dope. That's why I'm like, okay, Bryce, they're coming. I don't know what to do, but we're just going to run meetings and we're going to do a podcast. We're going to figure out what the fuck we're going to do while they're here. But it's cool because this is a first for me too. I've never had someone come out and actually like stay here for 3 days and try to learn from me and try to do all this. And it's weird. I've taught people in sales and in solar and like on conversations, but when someone's actually here and they're like watching everything you're doing and they're critiquing it, you're like, shit, am I actually as good as I say I am? Or are these people like, do they think I'm a bullshitter? Do they like not think I'm actually legit?
Yeah. It's
weird. It's very weird to be watching our microscope. But anyway, so okay, you guys are running gutter guys. You guys have been doing it for 6-7 years now. What's the thing now? Like, what are you guys working on? What is the overall right now?
Yeah, so I mean, we still run the Blue Diamond and the gutter guys together. We're kind of having a strategic change probably coming soon with just running the two and seeing how we can, really dive into one. But getting the sales team and then opening up, other locations, I think is the play. Again, when you're more narrow focus, as you said, you're able to do so much more. I know when we were talking off the pod here, you were saying you guys were in Ohio and then you were in Florida. And when you're just in so many places, kind of everything is just mediocre. But when you really can focus on one avenue, one thing, you can really, it's exponential. It's not just like 50% better. It's like 200% better because you get to see every little moving part and you get to really be able to analyze what's going well and what's not. Like right now, I'd say for us, one of our biggest issues is we're not able to see everything as much as we want. So we're seeing problems that come up 2 weeks after the problem, the original, where the problem began, we see the lingering effects a couple weeks later. And had we had more of our focus and more of our attention on it, we could have seen that right away and made the change. But because we've got so many moving parts, so many things going on, it's hard for us to spot things right when they happen. And that's when you want to put a stop to it because, as you guys have pointed out upstairs, when the guys came late, you guys want to kind of shame them and be like, yo, that's not how we do things.
Yeah.
Because if you let that go, next thing you know, everyone's coming late, no one cares. And then it's just, it's a cancer that just spreads everywhere. And so be able to, nail that in the butt right away is what we want. Having our time back is really going to help that.
Yeah. Narrowing down and doing, we were just talking about it upstairs for like an hour.
Yeah.
But when you're have a business and in the beginning, your goal is just to like proof of concept to yourself. And then once you've proved it, and for some businesses, like we were just talking about this too, you doing $1 million in sales in a year is equivalent to us doing $10 million in solar because the ticket is $40,000 compared to $4,000.
Yeah.
So the first like 1 to 10 million, depending on what business you're in, is just proof of concept and figuring out that you can actually put the product in the consumer's hands and make it happen. Once you get to that point, then it's like, how do you delegate these tasks to each individual person? How do you create a system for them to actually do it right? How do you move up to the next lane? And what do you do next?
Yeah.
Once you delegate the position, then you got to go find something else to do that's better than what you just
higher
hired
leverage.
for.
Yeah.
Well,
that's it. I think so many businesses stay small because it is intimidating to pay somebody to do something that you are capable of doing and probably doing better, but it's going to limit you because you only have like 15 hours in a day if you take away sleep and eat.
Work in the business or on the business.
That's it. And for the first 4 years, 5 years, we weren't documenting, we weren't doing things. So we were just in the business, just constantly running and eventually burn out because you're doing the same shit over and over again. You're not getting as far as you'd want. And so once you're able to put people in positions, for the first little bit, it is stressful and nerve wracking because they suck and you're paying them to suck and you have to now manage them while also doing other things. But then eventually it's like now for us, we have an admin. Took a long time, longer than we wanted to get her, but she's amazing. So now we have that taken care of. And then we have another setter that's on the phones, taking all the phone calls. And that was a long process, but we, saw it through, took our time, got the right person. Now that's great. Now we're trying to hire an HR person to really help us with the hiring of all the different positions. And that's another thing that's going to take some time. But once we're able to, relieve that, now we've got people that are narrow focused on what they're supposed to be doing and they can do a really good job at that. And now we've freed ourselves up from scheduling, setting, and hiring, which are obviously, as business owners, such a time drainer. Yep. And it's necessary. You have to do it, but damn, does it take a lot of time. And so getting somebody to do that now allows us to focus on the sales team, which brings us here.
Yo, shout out our boy Tommy Mello. He was just saying this the other day. Do you know Tommy Mello?
Of course.
So we just had him on last week. And
on the pod?
Yeah, we just had him on the podcast last week.
Fucking right.
And we were talking to him, and I asked him a question because I saw it on his short. He was asked the difference between a millionaire and a billionaire.
Yeah.
And he was saying, like, millionaires, they wake up early, they go in the cold plunge, they work out, they work really hard, they usually have six packs, they usually got a hot girlfriend, like, they got all the things. And he's like, the only difference between a millionaire and a billionaire is their networking and the delegation of tasks where, like, we all got the same 24 hours. A billionaire is just trying to find the right people, put the right people in positions, and then allow them to go and do that and grow their business. Like we all talk about Tesla and Elon Musk, but you know how many number twos that Elon Musk has in his business that create the Teslas and everything he does?
Insane.
You know what kind of people he attracts? You're talking about the top engineers in the world. He's probably got 100 of them at Tesla.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
He attracted those people, and then he puts them in the right position and allows them to do their job.
Yeah.
When we're millionaires, we're the guy, and we want to be on the name, and we want to do all the cool shit, and we want the thing. And then billionaires just, they're willing to pay for people and delegate tasks and allow people to do those.
Yeah.
And then they just keep rising and rising and rising and rising and rising.
Well, that's it. It does start, again, millionaire to billionaire. It does start with you doing those things and being the one who can attract those people. But you first got to do it yourself. I mean, you got to be someone who people want to even look at. And I think that's obviously where a lot of the, you know, the beginner entrepreneurs are at, is trying to be someone that's worth leading. And then eventually you can attract the guys that are better than you in given categories. Because, you know, when you start out, you're the best at everything, which is a cool place to be in for the ego, but a shit place to be at the same time. Because it sucks because you go away for one day, or you give something to somebody else and instantly they suck, and now you're having no stress. But when you're able to actually give things off to people that are better than you, it changes everything. And I'm sure you guys have seen that on a much bigger scale. I mean, I'm talking, we're at like 1 million, you guys are at, you know, 100 million or whatever that is. It's a different scale, but the concepts are the same.
And I think for sales managers too, like you do a very good job of this, is when you have a sales rep who's better than you at one thing, you ask questions and figure out what he does. It's not like, oh, I'm the sales manager, you can't tell me what to do. You can't tell me you're better at that process. If their thing is working, you listen to them and you implement that new system, or you change how you're doing it because this person's extremely successful at it. And I think a lot of the time sales managers are like the most egoed person in the world. And I don't think they listen to people for shit.
Yeah.
They don't want to listen to people on their team.
Stupid as fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, Tony, you're obviously running this location. I know you kind of oversee a lot, but you specifically, what do you think is the number one thing that you are focusing on when, you know, you're seeing guys come in, they're struggling, because you're obviously overseeing them and you're trying to help them. And, you know, how do you deal with guys that are either doing really well or guys that are doing really low? Like, how do you
If
handle
a guy sucks, I try to spot his weak spots. If I am better at doing what he's fucking up than him, I'll show him what I do. But if it's something that, or I just send him to the best guy for it. Like, I know all my guys' strengths and weaknesses on my team, and we all work together. You saw the culture up there. If I call someone and ask for a favor, they're doing it. So if I have a guy who's having trouble setting appointments, I'm going to send him to the guy who sets appointments better than I do. And if it's a guy who's having trouble at a kitchen table, I got guys that are better than me. I got no problem admitting that. I send them to the best guy, or I show them what I'm doing that works for me. It's that simple. It's really not that tough. Like, if you could put your ego aside, you can actually help people.
Yeah, and I think the main thing to that point is, dude, in most sales organizations, you don't have guys that want to help other guys. And that stems from the top guy having a ego problem or having some kind of constraint and not wanting to let it go and to be the number one guy. And then it breeds people don't want to help each other. They don't want to work with each other. And, you know, that creates backstabbing culture and a fucked up sales culture.
And you said the most important word, and I say it all the time, is culture. Like, I try to set that precedent. Like, even if I am better than you, what does that mean? I don't care. I want you to be better than me. I want everyone in that room to sell more than I do. Why would I want anything different? Right? Like,
Yeah.
I want everybody to eat and win. And I show it. Like, I'll go to work for these guys. Typically, when do I work the hardest? When I'm mentoring someone.
Oh, yeah.
And I work like a fucking dog. And I don't make the money when I'm mentoring someone.
No.
They are making the money.
Yeah.
But I'll work so fucking hard for these guys to make sure they get to where they got to be.
And also, we've seen people's lives change before. Like, you experienced it, I experienced it. Everyone who comes to this company and does well, you come in, whatever you're doing, you could be doing car sales, you could be doing fucking construction, you could have just lost your leg and come out of the hospital, you could be a server, whatever it is. You come into this job, you're making, let's say, $30,000 to $60,000 a year, and then you come to this job and you start working, and that person doesn't have the belief system in themselves.
Yeah.
So myself, Tony, whoever their mentor is literally pouring into them. Like, bro, you can do this job. Just trust me. Just do this. Just do this. Just do this. And you bring them in the car because you want them to succeed more than they even understand and know and believe. So you're bringing them out working with them 24/7, pouring into them, and then you see their one day. I swear to God, it's not like a linear moment. It's like exponential.
Yeah.
1 week, you're like, they do 6 sales and they come to you and they're like, bro, I just did 40,000 this month. I didn't do 40,000 in my last 2 years of my life. Like, what is happening? And you're like, yeah, bro, it's what you do. And then you do that and you do it 2 or 3 times. It's 2 or 3 different guys. You'll go so far. Like when someone's not doing well, you will go and knock with them for 9 hours a day, go home and eat dinner with them and train them the whole dinner, do Zoom calls with them. You'll do everything because you know what it's like on the other side. And once they get out of that and how much money they're going to make and how much their life is going to change, you go so far for people. Yeah. So I think that's a big deal too.
There are rules. I will not work hard for you if you're not busting your ass. If the second you give up, I'm done with you. Mm-hmm. If I wake up early to come work for you when it's supposed to be the other way around, but that's not how I treat this job. And I said that from day one. I became the manager. That means I work for everyone in that office. And it's not the other way around in my head. But if I see you getting lazy, I got shit to do.
Yeah.
If you're not going to give it 100%, I don't think this is for you. And you should be able to, if you want a strong team, it's tough to give up on people. But
and I think the biggest time waster in the world is wasting your time on people who don't try. Like you can't teach that attitude, that effort, that trying.
And then on the other end of that coin, for the people who do try and you successfully bring them into where they want to be, the most gratifying thing about this job is the text messages. Dude, I can't believe I got 10K in my bank account. I've never had 10K in my bank account. Or like, holy shit, I'm so excited for this new part of my life. I'm going to make so much money. I just generated $30,000 this week. I've never done that in my life. That's my favorite part of this fucking job, is watching other people make more money than they ever thought they could, so they can be good to their families and, be men.
Yeah. And I feel like Daniel G, like he's always saying, anybody can be a sales rep. The only thing that's required is that you love winning. And I mean, like, even introverts can be sales reps. It's just they were taught at some point in their life that, not to be persistent, whether it's their parents, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, whatever it was in their life. They were taught that it's not okay to be persistent. It's not okay to push the limits. It's weak. And they're just, even introverts can win. The only requirement is that you want to win.
What is the ultimate mission or vision for your sales team? Like, do you have a thing when you think of building your sales team that you have a vision for or a mission for?
Well, first, like, to kind of touch on what he said before, is so when you see other guys winning, that's where I'm at now. Like, I can say 2 years ago, it was all about like, oh man, I just booked 100K this past month, whatever. But now for me, is like I told you just before gone, if I can sell 200K this month, or I could see a sales rep sell 80 fully on their own, I would take the 80 over the 200, because I want to just see somebody else really dive in and do that, and then see their paycheck and be like, holy shit, I just made 8-9K this month. That's 3 months, and I just do that in 1 month. Yeah. And they can do better. I already know based on our stats of that they can do even better. But let's just start with 80,000. That would change someone's life. And so for me, that's really where I'm at now. Is that's what I want to see, and I haven't done it yet in terms of building that up and what it actually takes. I know you guys have been doing this for a while now, so you guys kind of could probably spot who's a good, use of your time and who's a bad use of your time.
And that's a skill you learn.
No. It's tough. As long as someone's working hard, you never know if they're going to succeed or not, right? Well, let me say that backwards. If they're not working hard, they're going to fail. But if they're working hard, you never know who's actually going to make it or not. Because there are some people who will work hard and they don't make it. But you don't ever try to guess who it is, because you'll never be right. I do it all the time. Yeah. People come in the office and I go, he'll be gone in a week.
Who'd you just? Oh wait, we can't say. Never mind. Sorry. Never mind.
There's people, and I'm like, that guy I'm glad he showed up today, but he's gonna be gone. And then 2 weeks later, he's popping off on the fucking charts, and Zach's like, looks like you were wrong.
And the other guy we just brought in and did an interview with, he leaves. You're like, bro, he's a stud.
Yeah.
And he hasn't showed back up.
Gone. You never fucking know. You just gotta let them do what they're doing. But if they're not working hard, obviously they're not gonna last.
Yeah, there's you have to be disconnected to them for the first couple weeks and just do what you're doing no matter what they say or show or
Treat
feel.
everyone like they're going to succeed.
Exactly.
As long as they're working hard. I'll say that again and again and again.
True, though. And then after 2 or 3 weeks, you realize, okay, let me
this guy's got it or he doesn't.
Yeah. But we say it all the time, bro. In an interview, I would rather you never have sold anything in your life, because then I can mold you. I'll teach you the right way to sell, because many people are taught the wrong way how to sell. So if they don't have sales experience, I'm happy about it. I want you to be genuine, authentic, like those kind of personality traits. But the biggest thing is hunger. If I bring somebody in and they're asking all kinds of questions and they're showing up to meetings on time, most of the time early, I should say, showing up to meetings early, they're calling me with questions. They're asking people in the other room with questions. They're being attentive. They bring a notebook. They're writing down things without me even having to ask them. That guy's going to be successful. We have the right vehicle. The first year or two, and when you're building a sales team, is how do we build out the right vehicle, make the compensation structure right, make our sales process correct, and then it's like, now we need to look for the right people and find the right guys. Because I could tell you, when I first started building my sales team and the sales team we got going on in one of our offices, you walk in the room and you're like, there's no way anyone in here can sell and make over $100,000 a year. You're like, if those 3 guys are selling solar, making $200,000 a year, I can make $1 million a year, because they look like one's got an eye that's going this way. 3 of them just left Alcoholics Anonymous. Like, you're like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
But they're hungry. They're hungry people.
So you kind of touched on that. Do you find that, I mean, obviously sales guys are a different breed of people. Yeah. They ride super highs, super lows. Typically they do have some, drug problems or, women problems or gambling problems. Cause they just,
all of them,
they like the rush and then they obviously don't love the downfall, but it comes with the rush. How do you guys handle the type of personalities that you guys see with, I mean, obviously 70 reps, you probably have, some guys that are, like to have their fun. Do you guys find that can, influence the business in a negative, or the culture or the team in a negative way?
I'm curious.
So we rarely, like, our guys are pretty fucking wild. We're the island of misfit toys, especially on this team. But not really. Like, I think most of our guys know where the line is and they respect it. We've had 1 or 2 instances I can think of, one that I know you're thinking about right now, where someone has crossed the line.
Yeah.
But we know how to correct it very quickly. So
I'm going to tell you how I think we do it overall. Go ahead. Were you about to say something else?
Overall, I mean, I think it all, again, goes back to the attitudes that the leaders carry.
That's for sure.
Listen, yeah, we fuck around, we have fun, but don't fuck this up.
Exactly.
And don't fuck it up for anyone else, because we will all come down on you.
Correct.
And it's like, we're a brotherhood here. So, like, yeah, it's a business, but I don't care. I'll fucking slap you, bro. Like, don't fuck around. Do not put my job or this office in jeopardy, because this is people's, lives on the line here.
Yeah.
What's your answer?
100%. No, you're right. It's the managers and the people at the top. Listen, we say it all the time, the fish stinks from the head down. Whoever the leader is, when we were at SLS and they had, what are the 10 most important traits in the sales thing?
I got that one so wrong.
What was the correct answer?
Was it culture number 1?
No, culture was number 2. What was the correct answer? You weren't there. What was the correct answer?
Leaders.
Sales leader. Whoever the sales leader is who's going to determine that culture ultimately. So if you have a sales leader who's got skeletons in the closet and is actually doing bad shit on the side, or is going out and doing that kind of fucked up stuff, no matter how hard you try and hide it, it will always come out of the closet, and that's how your sales team is going to be. Those are the type of people you're going to attract, number 1. Number 2 is exactly that. There's a line that everyone understands. We have fun. When people walk in this office, everyone's smiling, we're all happy, we're all cool. But if some shit goes down, I'm still the manager and I'm still coming down on somebody, But like, we're cool until we're not cool. Everything is good. We're boys. I want to see you win. Everyone's happy. We're playing pranks. Guys are cracking with each other. You'll see we're doing softball this week. We're doing a field day next week. We do paintball. We do quarterly trips. We do all kinds of fun stuff. But we have making a point of, if someone crosses the line, it's not acceptable. And we make an extreme point out of it, and shit doesn't happen again.
And everybody knows how good we have it here. Like, they don't fuck around. Nobody wants to put this job in jeopardy.
That's true too.
You know, I can see how good you guys have it, man. Talking to your boys, I'm like, yo, man, listen, the gutter business is all right, but the solar business is looking bright, man.
Yeah,
Looking
yeah,
bright.
it's a shiny object for sure. It's a very shiny object.
Which is really, really. I mean, we all watch Alex Shimozy. He does talk about that, and you know, there's so many opportunities. And I think, you know, as much as one opportunity looks great, people don't realize there's always underlying things that you don't see. And that you just got to kind of stay focused. I'm sure there's been some days where you guys are like, this sucks. Maybe not as much, but at least for us, it sometimes looks good when you sell a job, but then, you know, you see things happen, or, you know, the clients are annoying, or scheduling sucks, or, you know, and so.
Yeah, we have a word for it. It's called the solar coaster.
The solar coaster. Okay. Tell me about the solar coaster.
So everyone who works at this job and in this office needs to be capable of enduring extreme mental stress, because you're going to ride super high highs. When you get your first $10,000 paycheck on a Friday, you're like this. And even just the act of going that high means you're going to come down. And when you come down, sometimes when you're coming down, bad things happen. And then you reach an all-time low. And that's riding the solar coaster. And that happens very often. You know, you can go 1 month and have 6 deals. And then the next month, have no deals. And then 3 months down the road, you get 6 checks. And then the next month, you get no checks. And then the following month, you get no checks. And then you're out of money, and you're like, holy shit. Like, this was good while it lasted, but it was too good to be true. And you have all these doubts. But you need to be extremely mentally tough to make it here, because when you're under that immense stress, you need to go back to work.
Do you guys have like a baseline that if a rep is not hitting this amount of deals in a certain amount of time, what's that baseline look like for you guys?
For us, it's well, it depends on where you're at, but for most sales guys, you need to be getting 6 installs quarterly. And if you're not reaching that, you're put into like a probationary period. And then if you do it again, you're out.
Our goal is not to get rid of people, but our goal is also to keep
It's a very
minimum,
maintain the standard.
very low threshold.
Correct.
there.
We don't want to. Listen, if you're doing 6 installs a quarter, you're still making $120,000 a year, $150,000 a year. Like, the bottom guys are doing that.
I had to fire a guy last year who made $100,000
Yeah,
because it's not good for the culture.
correct.
Do you guys cut the bottom 10% sort of thing?
Pretty much. That, I mean, it's not the exact rule we have,
Well,
but
if everyone's saying
every
it, then
year
you're
we
gonna,
do.
then you're
Anyone who
happy.
doesn't hit that criteria has got to go.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is the saying you're only as good as your weakest link. So when you have those guys that are on the bottom, no matter what, whether you think it or not, somebody in that office is I yell at this guy for being late, or I yell at this guy for not doing enough sales. I yell at this guy for whatever. But meanwhile, this guy over here has been late 3 times, is only doing 5 sales a quarter, and only doing this. No matter what I say to him, he's not going to listen because he knows he can get away with it.
Right.
So you got to have that standard of like, this is the minimum. And we're not what's the word I'm looking for?
We're not gonna like lower.
Yeah, we're not gonna lower the standard. Is
Right. The bar can't go lower.
The bar can't go lower. We're not gonna change.
We are the median of every single person in that office.
So
And so if you're bringing it down, you got to go.
You gotta go.
So what's been the worst month for, you know, making cuts? Like, have you guys had like a month, or like, I guess it's over a quarter, I guess technically
I
go
think
probation. So it'd be
Q4
2.
last quarter, we let go of 3 people in 1 quarter.
Yeah. In Poughkeepsie. Only
In
Poughkeepsie.
just this office.
Yeah, and only Poughkeepsie.
Yeah. And it hurts. It sucks.
And were
These
they
people
like,
Oh, bro,
are
it
friends.
but they must know it's coming. Like they
You
already
have-
We give them so many
you have
chances.
so much. You have 6 months to fail. 6 months. And anyone who's really working hard could fix it in 1 month. Or you just don't have the skills to do
Yeah,
this.
some people, there's a very small amount, but there are some people that cannot do it.
Just can't do it.
Door to door is the hardest form of sales in the world.
Well, you've got to be charismatic. You got to be witty. You got to also know the product, know how to deal with different types of people at the door. Some people might be, as you said, mad one time when you walk by because they had a shitty day, whatever, and then you go back a week later and they're in a different mood. Being able to handle yourself in that situation, getting rejected, you know, you might go a whole day and not talk to one person because shit just sucked. Everyone's out having a party on July 1st or whatever it is, and being able to bounce back on that is tough. But if you can do that, the law of averages is there.
Mm-hmm.
The law of averages says you're going to get X amount of leads with X amount of doors or X amount of time that you're out there, and being able to just weather that, because while it is a law of averages, it's not going to all be even all the time. It's going to be like,
No, and having a bad attitude will affect your law of averages, and it'll bring it down.
for sure.
If
For
you
sure.
can't put your emotions to the side in this industry, you're fucked. If you can't ride the roller coaster with a smile on your face the whole time, you're going to get yourself into trouble.
Bro, but
And I've been there.
yeah. I'm not going to go on a tangent, but those people, the people that like, people don't understand in sales and direct sales, in door to door, whatever product you're selling, or in a lot of other form of sales, doesn't have to be what we do. You can use your words to make hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. You don't need to work your back. You don't need to fucking kill yourself. You don't need to be in toxic chemicals or be a air traffic controller where you have a crazy, insane job. Like, you can knock on doors, talk to people, make friends,
And save them money.
and have a good attitude, sell a great product.
It's a
But
great product.
the big thing is, like, you need two things. You need to use your words and sharpen your words and become better at what you're saying, better personality, and have a good attitude and good energy. And then it's like, that's it. You don't need, everyone's trying to figure out, how do I make money? How do I do these good things? But it's their attitude that's so broken, and they have such a victim mindset, and they're so poopy pants
Yeah.
that
Poopy pants.
they can't succeed. But all it is your attitude, your energy, and your words. And it's crazy to me sometimes. Like, we're talking about before, doing online coaching. You know what all online coaching is? Using your words, talking to a camera because you have experience and knowledge, and selling it for hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
It's literally words.
Leveraging your experience.
But it's crazy. Like, people can go into sales and they're so scared of it because they don't have the belief in it in themselves, because they were brought up in all these fucked up ways. And then I know so many names, one in particular, where they come in and they're just soft human beings, and they cannot handle rejection.
Yeah.
They can't handle being told no. They can't handle the knocking on Saturdays and Sundays and missing parties and missing weddings and whatever it is. And they're just soft human beings.
Well, I mean, again, the education system does not help. You know, they always say how it's risky and how you got to go, you know, the university route, and then you've got to get a safe job. And that was kind of the lies for the past 20 years that people have been saying. So I don't.
Were you ever on that path? Because you went to college and whatnot.
I always tell people I went to school for basketball, and by default, I got a sociology. No, not even sociology. I started sociology, just a general degree. Honestly, I don't even care about it. I don't even use it. I will never, ever, ever use it. I don't give a shit about it. It's not.
Sociology, is that what it is?
No, I started in sociology, and then I went to literally general BA, like just a general degree.
You got a general degree?
Yeah, well, actually, I have
Fucking
two.
asshole.
No, but listen. I actually have 2 classes left because
Oh, you never got your
I didn't
degree?
actually finish. No. Honestly,
Don't get that degree.
I know. It's kind of like, for me, the tough part is I like to finish what I start, but at the same time, should you finish something that's retarded? I don't know.
Well, why don't you fully quit college then?
Well, I haven't taken a class in 4 years, so
There you go.
I haven't. It's not like I'm like, oh man, I can't wait for my women's studies class. I can't wait for that shit. It's gonna be great. Like, I'm making money. I'm building businesses. I'm learning things. I'm traveling places, meeting cool people. Like, why the fuck am I gonna go sit down and write a women's studies paper or waste my time just being like
Well, the thing that's
indoctrinated?
fucked up is that you have to make these decisions so young. Like, you're in high school, we're forcing these kids, and teachers who they spend hours with every single day are saying, you have to do this, otherwise you're not going to be successful. And that feeds their peers, and their peers are telling them all this, and like, kids are being forced to make these decisions at like 17 years old.
Yeah.
It's super weird. Like, I feel like until you're 21, you just have goggles over your eyes, and all you can see is this in the world. Whatever, you have no experience. All you know is what other people have told you, and you've never tried anything on your own.
Well,
But-
he's lucky because he got to see our shit, and like, he was on that side of things, trying to be a doctor, all that stuff. And doctor's cool. Don't get me wrong. That's like, if there's one thing you actually can go to school for, that's actually a good, like, doctor, lawyer, good. Do your thing.
The second episode of this podcast, we discussed reasons to go to college and reasons not to.
Yeah. And so he was kind of on that mindset of like, oh, I'm getting a job, and da-da-da. And then, but then because he saw our business, and then I put the Rich Dad Poor Dad in his book, I'm like, oh, hey, read this.
It's very, I mean, listen, we can go deep down a matrix rabbit hole, but it's just very weird that we still, after all this inclusivity, all the world we live in today of everything that's going on, I don't need to go into it, that we still have a traditional school system that only tries to put people into one box the whole time.
Yeah.
It's
Like-
called an indoctrination camp.
Correct.
It's
I know.
not a
I
school
understand,
system.
but I'm
It's
just
bullshit.
saying, I can't believe it's not shifted a little bit to like, hey, let's find a person's gift and skill set a little bit more than what we have.
I would say it's made a small shift just as of the past few years. I'd say with online, again, COVID, seeing people online, like before when, there wasn't the Zooms and all these online schools and whatever, it was a little bit harder to see it. But now when you can hop on someone's school, whatever school program and see that he's making $10,000 a month, and you're like, well, if I stay this route, $10,000 a month is going to take me 2.5 months to make. Maybe I should try that. And so I think people are starting to see it a little bit, but it's got a long way to go.
Do you think the school system will change in the next 20 years?
100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think,
Really?
I think,
For
I think
sure.
universities.
Yes.
People
I think-
are pulling their kids out of school finally.
Yeah.
That's the beginning of the change.
Well, universities are going to be screwed because people are starting to really
That's
talk
a strong
about.
statement.
I think the programs like the sociologies and things like that are going to be done. Like I have $28K in like student loans. For what? I mean, I played basketball, so that's like my thing is like, honestly, I wouldn't have traded it because I got the experience and, compete. And I know once basketball was done, there was no, going back to that. So I felt like it was still a good use of my time and I don't regret it. But if I was just somebody that went for a general BA, like a legitimately just general BA, that would be just such a waste of time, energy, and money that could be used. I could take 4 years, save the 28,000 and literally try anything, and you're better off than.
How much is college in the U.S. here? Like tuition?
Depends on what
It
you
varies
wanna do.
drastically by where you go. It could be up to $250,000 and for
That
4
much?
year, 5 year degree.
Wow.
But it could also be as low as 10 grand.
Wow.
It depends. Like if you go to a major university, if you go to like Alabama or
You can get
a
grants
Florida
and shit too.
college,
You can
yeah.
go to college for free.
yeah,
Are the states like the state school is cheaper? Like how
Yeah.
does that is that what that
Yeah,
works? That's like
typically.
SUNYs, yeah, they're definitely cheaper. I went to college for about 1.5 semesters,
and then you're like, this is.
and I went to
painful.
my dad. I wrote a contract. It said if I'm not on track to make $100,000 within 12 months, I'll go back to school and I'll pay for my 4 year degree. But I need you to sign this contract because I'm dropping out of school.
I dropped out twice.
Give me that story.
Yeah, how'd you go back?
Where did I start? I went to Dutchess. No, I went to
Wait,
Westchester.
where's your high school diploma from?
Lakeland High School.
That's right.
Yeah. So I
He went to
moved out,
Arlington High School, which is our high school over here. Went there all normal, like fine. And
And
one
then
day
I
you just
moved-
handed me a Lakeland
Yeah,
diploma, and I'm like, when the fuck did you ever go to Lakeland? Did you ever even go?
I did. Yeah. I
Okay,
moved
your last
out-
year?
I moved out at 18 before I finished high school. Finished
Okay.
like
I thought you like got it for like a month.
half of the
school.
year at Lakeland, so I graduated from there.
Got
Went
it.
to Westchester.
All right, sorry.
Community
Go ahead. Tell
or
your
whatever.
college.
Dropped out of that, and then I was like, I want to go to the city, and then I went to fucking FIT, the Fashion Institute, and I did like
You
one
learned nothing there.
No, I was getting a business degree, and the guy like I'm taking this business class, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? I'm like, what? You don't even have a business. You're a fucking teacher. I'm not gonna learn anything from you, so I fucking dropped out from there too. And then I just went and worked for.
Why
Family.
FIT? Why'd you choose FIT?
You want to guess?
Women?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I had a girlfriend there actually. She was going there, and they had
Women.
they had a community college program. I did do really good in the jiu-jitsu class. That was pretty dope.
Yeah.
Nice. How much did that jiu-jitsu class cost?
That was free.
Oh
That
wow,
was like a state thing.
wow.
Interesting.
Wasted a lot of fucking time. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, that's probably honestly the most like valuable thing is your time. It's like the money is one thing, but then it's like rubbing salt into the wound. That's like, oh, I just wasted 4 years, and
Your
guess what?
youth.
And
Waste your
now,
youth.
and now I've got like in Canada, we're lucky because it's only like $28,000, whatever. And I did like 5 years because I played basketball, whatever. But some of you guys, I met a girl at a diner and she had $200,000 in debt and she's serving me. I'm like, you're serving me.
That's 'cause
You
she
can't
got-
be making
she
more than
got
like
tricked.
$25 an hour if you're lucky, maybe 30 with tips. maybe.
She got
and you
tricked.
got 200K. I literally felt so bad for the poor girl. I gave her a nice tip. I'm like, I hope this can, pay off 0.001% of your debt.
Well, it's a very
Bro.
simple math equation because like the average college graduate makes like what, 70 grand or something like that.
Yeah.
Whereas you can go into sales first year and make 100 grand.
Yeah.
Like it's a very simple math equation.
Yeah. It's not, and so many sales positions will take you with nothing.
Yeah.
When someone comes to me and they're like, yo, I'm a recovering addict. I was an alcoholic for 3 years. I'm like, oh my God, we got a great one.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hire him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they're
get
the type
addicted
of
to the
people.
high of
they go to
getting a
the
paycheck.
extremes.
And you know what else? They'll fucking work.
Yeah.
Like they'll actually go to work. They don't think, I'm too good for door knocking. I have a general arts degree. I won't go knock on a door.
Well,
That's
that's
not a
it.
real job.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I mean, like with season, like you were saying earlier, with seasoned sales reps, we hired 2 sales reps this year. One had like 20 years of experience in the industry, selling for a massive company in our industry.
Holy smokes, 28 years.
Yeah, and he was dog shit. He sucked. He had no hunger. He had no appetite. He expected just leads to be put on his schedule.
Always, just so you know.
Always.
If someone's been in the industry for more than 20 years,
Yeah,
they're done. You caught them at the end of their career.
exactly. And then we hired this guy who has 0 sale experience, and he's crushing it right now. He goes out door knocking. He works 7 days a week. He's actually willing to hustle.
Absolute pro tip for anyone, including you guys, to recruit a sales team: the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go to the gym
Or any athletic.
and start conversations with people. Go to boxing, go to jujitsu,
You
go to
want
basketball,
athletes,
and
competitive
start talking
people.
to them. I'm telling you, 90% of our sales team upstairs plays sports or is super competitive.
I bet
They're
an
the best
AA meeting
people.
would be a really good place to.
AA is actually very good too. I'm not even kidding.
Well, the only thing with AA is that, they get a 20K a month and then they might just all of a sudden disappear because they got all this money.
Well, you
now.
got to pour into them.
For sure.
Yeah.
For
But
sure.
athletes are the best. Go to the gym and recruit at the gym. Telling you, it's the biggest cheat code to build a great sales team because everyone's competitive, and then
Yeah.
you just put them up against each other.
Well, and they're disciplined normally. I mean, there are those guys who go to the gym and don't change ever. They look the same for the past 2 years. Those guys, not as disciplined. But overall, if you're going in consistently, you show a level of discipline which is required for door to door.
Question:
Yeah.
You definitely remember this. You probably remember it too. PBD had 4 ways of being type of people to motivate them. You had individuality, which was like achieving goals, having a lifestyle, which was like doing your own thing, having the fancy car, whatever. You had individuality.
It's what drives you.
You had madness. Yeah, what drives you? Sorry. You had madness, which is the competition.
Yep.
You had purpose, which is an overall purpose and thing. And then you had achievement. Achievement was like you're trying to do the check boxes per day and just achieve these goals.
Like advancing.
Advancement actually is the name.
Advancement.
Advancement, madness, individuality, and purpose. Which one of those 4 do you think you're driven by? You, and then you.
I think I'm a combo, a little bit of both. I don't think it's necessarily all just one. I think you can be a little bit of both. So I'd probably say advancement and then madness.
Your number 1 is advancement?
No, sorry.
think?
No, sorry. I would probably say madness first because I just like to compete and I like to just be the best. And then advancement within just seeing progression. But I think over time it will switch to purpose. I just think sequencing is what it is. Like I definitely, once I, make the money, then I want to go over to how PBD did it with, he had his insurance, made his money. Now he's going all about, the media. I think just getting the sequencing right, if I try and do, purpose now, it might work, but it does help to have your finances in order. And so I think going this route first for me, and that's why I'm just like, I'm motivated by just being the best and going out there and dominating. And then also just seeing myself progress and self-develop. I think all of us who are in self-development have a sort of advancement to them because you are trying to get to that next level.
Yep.
And so
You think
Definitely
madness?
madness. Yeah. Like I'm just at the point where I just want to see how good we can build this. Like I just want to see how much we can crush it, how much we can improve everything, how much we can make everybody in our organization like just driven by.
You got a sick podcast voice, by the way.
Thank you.
Doesn't he have a sick? He's got that. He's got
Thank
the
you.
podcast voice.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
just making it so that everybody can do as best as they can. That's just what I'm driven by, and I just want to see how good I can do.
Okay. You think you're also madness?
It's mine changes. Like I know all the different ones, and when I remember the first time we did that, and I think it was at the first Volt conference we went to. Mine was just freedom. I just wanted to be able to wake up and control my time. But then I started working in this business, and then I became part of management, And now it's definitely a lot more purpose. Madness a little bit here and there, but not that much. Like, sure, I want to do better than other guys, but I don't really care to compete, especially with anyone on our team.
Yep.
I'm not competing with anyone in the business, maybe other people out there, but that's pretty much it.
It's a very good point, because I almost wanted you to say that, because my thing was the difference between a salesperson and a sales leader. I think when you look for salespeople, they're people that are driven by madness and stupid competitive. The more competitive your sales rep is, the better. I can motivate people so easy that are competitive. It's not even funny.
Yeah, our 4 top guys are competing with each other.
Yeah. And they're just
that's all they want
psycho.
Is to beat each other and the guys on the other teams.
And you just poke it and instigate it all the time.
Oh, all day.
All day. You
That's
just poke them.
Favorite shit to do.
Yo, Mike's got 6, bro. Did you see the board? He's got 6. You only got 7.
Did you hear me
only
doing
got
that
5.
this morning?
Yeah.
That's all we do all the time. And
That was
you
sick.
guys only saw the whiteboard. We have a Zoho thing where they're always getting it. We're in the chat. So
I sold 4 deals today just by talking shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Not my deals.
but
They're
sales
gonna sell it,
leaders,
but I did it.
sales leaders and CEOs are typically more of purpose-driven people, and that's what you have to look for when you're looking for sales leaders or people to run divisions, is people that are more driven by purpose and advancement in different things. Because when you get a sales manager who's all madness and all competing against other people, they're usually not very good at sales management. The best sales guy in any office is probably also the worst sales manager in any office. So if you have a number 1 sales rep, the worst thing you could do is take them and make them a manager just because they're number 1.
Well, Pewdie said that good sales rep can be a good sales rep, but typically aren't always best leaders. But leaders can also be good sales reps.
Correct.
So the leader can be both, but the best sales rep usually isn't the best.
No. Why would you
No,
take
they're
the
never.
best sales guy and stop him from selling? That'd
Yeah.
be so fucking dumb.
The
I
number
was
1
never
guy.
the best sales guy we had.
Yeah.
I was always in the top, 5?
Yeah.
But like, if I was better at selling, why the fuck would you take me out of that position? If I was one of the top 2 guys.
Yeah.
It'd be
Well,
so
also,
dumb.
yeah, it'd be stupid in general. But I'm just saying the person that has to be number 1 is not the person that can ever be a leader.
No.
And I think so many people make that mistake in business. They have compensation plans and structures and incentivization to have the number 1 guy become a sales manager.
I hate when we do shit like that. I used to see it all the time. Like Marina, she was the best lead generator we ever had. So we were like, okay, let's promote you to sales. And I was like, we're going to take the person who's best at that position and
Yeah, we
change her
fucked it up,
position.
and we lost her.
And she's gone.
Well,
fucked it up.
She's gone.
I think because that's happened to us, and I think in our minds, at least, correct me if I'm wrong, you want to give them more money, and you want to be able to, like, some positions, they have a cap. Like maybe your setter has a cap for the whatever
She would've
compensation
made so much more money if she's
potentially.
Oh,
and-
God,
and-
yeah.
in that position.
But could that position make more than if, let's say, she did convert to the best sales rep? Can that position of a setter make more than the best sales rep?
Yeah, I just made a new thing called Outreach Pro.
Yeah, we changed the compensation
Just
plan,
came
bro.
up with it
I was
because
talking to you
of
guys a
that
lot about
question.
Yeah,
compensation.
by the way, we completely stole all that.
Yes.
Did you? You
Yeah.
showed
I
them
gave him our
Outreach Pro and
compensation
shit?
plan. Yes, I did show you Outreach Pro.
Yeah.
I showed them
I
our whole
like that. It was
compensation
sick.
plan.
It's sick. Instantly, I was like, oh, we need that.
Bro, the compensation plan is fucking everything.
I have a question for you though, Zach. As you are growing in, your position in the company and you're selling less, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
How
Still more than him, but less.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. He's
Are
beating me.
you worried about losing that like closer mentality?
No, not at all. I think I'm still a closer through and through.
I'm the one who's having that problem.
Okay.
I'm not supposed to sell anymore. It's like, I mean, I'm not supposed to, but like, it shouldn't be my focus. But I stopped selling for a while and it fucking drove me crazy. Now I'm paying a lot of money to get sales training so that I can stay good at selling. Although I shouldn't really have to.
But okay, wrong and right. You have to understand the positioning of where you are in business and at what point. When I was just a sales manager, I still sold 4, 5, 6 deals a month. You have to. If you are a sales manager, it's like being on the front line of your business. When you're at the stages of growing a team and being the sales manager, you have to manage, do all the managerial shit, but also still sell, because your sales team, you need to prove to your sales team. I'm now at a point where I'm at a different level. I'm 4 layers up where
if you were out selling a deal, I'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
are
that's
you
the
doing?
least useful thing I could do is be in the field.
Yeah.
And then he needs me for something, and I'm like, I'm in a house. It's like, what the fuck are you in a house for? Like, why are you selling a deal? So you have to know where you are in business and what level you're getting to and when to shift, because now it is literally the worst use of my time to sell a deal.
Yeah.
Like unless I'm with a guy, but even still when I'm with a guy, that's still not that great of my time to do that. That's not my position anymore.
So would you say that like now you're not closing deals, you're closing other things?
Oh yeah, I mean I'm always selling. All I ever do is sell. I'm selling right now on a podcast. I'm selling upstairs. Yeah, I am the optimizer. That's the new nickname they have, but that we're creating. But anyway, selling is, bro. You're always selling. Like you're always selling and closing. People don't. They try to say they're not sales reps or not good at sales. If I ask you, what are you really good at? And you say, well, I'm not good at anything. Okay, what kind of movie do you like? Oh, my favorite TV show is Peaky Blinders. Why is your favorite TV show? Oh, dude, you gotta watch it. In this season, then they start just selling the shit out of you on the TV show because they love the TV show. So they become salesmen all of a sudden. They don't realize it. So anyway, I believe in this position. I believe in the company. I believe in what we do. I believe in our mission, all that. So I'm always selling the mission, the vision. I'm always selling him. I'm selling the other managers. They're selling me. I'm selling the sales reps. It's in your DNA. I think like once you have it, you can't turn it off. You still get such a high of selling, and you just sell it at different levels and for different things. Or like I'm having a meeting with the owners, and I'm selling them on why our floor price should be lower, or why we need to do this with operations, or why we need to do this with operations. And I'm arguing my point, and I'm trying to close a deal. But now the difference is it's much, much, much more fulfilling. I was saying this before. When you're a sales rep, you think in terms of days and weeks. When you're a sales manager, you think in terms of weeks and months. Your scale gets longer.
Months
so when I'm a
and
sales
quarters,
rep,
bro.
Okay.
Months and quarters.
Fair. When you're a sales rep, you think, how can I make $8,000 today? When you're a sales manager, you think, how can I get the next guy? How do I make the next incentive? How do I do this? When you walk up the ladder, when you're a sales director, you think in quarters or longer terms, even years maybe. And then when you're a CEO, you start to think in 5-year gaps. You're like, okay, how do we get to $1 billion? It's a 5-year play. Let's reverse engineer for 5 years what we need to do for 5 years. And that's how you can tell what kind of person somebody is and how successful they're going to be too. Is if you're thinking about what you're going to do next quarter. I mean, bro, PBD says it's the best. I'm almost stealing this from PBD, but like he talks about chess.
Yeah.
If you're a pro, you know your next 3 to 5 moves. If you're a master, you know 5 to 15. If you're a grand master, you know your next 15 moves. It's the same in business. If you're thinking on longer and longer and longer scales, you have a much more chance that you're going to be successful because you are planning for 5 years ahead and you're making moves, adjusting for the massive future.
Right.
So
as long as everything in the interim is covered.
Oh yeah, of course. And I think you have to start at the bottom level. Like you have to be a sales rep first. You have to be a sales manager. Then you have to be a director. Then you have to be a president. Then you have to run a company, whatever. Like I hate when companies bring in managers that aren't inside the company. I think it's the worst thing in the world.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was something I made a mistake on. It was the wrong timing. You know, in business, you make decisions, and sometimes they're good, sometimes they're horrible. This January, I was looking to hire a sales manager when I had 0 sales reps. Could you imagine? Like the thought, it was
manage nobody.
It was well. The way I saw it was like, okay, no, but listen.
Do?
Well, listen. I planned it where you're gonna go and you're gonna sell, and then I'm gonna bring you more reps, and then you're gonna sell and manage those reps, and then eventually in like 8 months, you're gonna got a whole bunch of guys, and then you're gonna manage them all. And so, like, you can imagine how stupid that is thinking that at the time. Like now, it's obviously we're laughing about it because like that's hilariously impossible. But at the time, with the information I had, I was like, that's probably the best play. And that was before I had Tristan who joined us. So obviously bringing on, you know, somebody who can sell with me because I was selling plus doing all the other things in the business, helping hire production, all that stuff. So I wanted to get off the sales so I could help grow the business more, but it wasn't the right time. And so I wasted a few weeks, you know, just chasing something that was just completely nonsense. And that's something that in business, most people don't realize is to really to hit the target, you're going to have to throw a lot of darts and miss. And eventually you figure out, you know, okay, I was a little bit off on the right. Let me bring it a little bit over. Okay, I was slightly to the left. And so, your hope is that you don't need as many darts, you know, until you run out.
You're trying to figure it out fast.
You're trying to figure it out fast because every dart you throw is thousands of dollars that you're just wasting. And so that's kind of been us 7 years. And, you know, the first 4 years weren't profitable because we were throwing darts the wrong direction. We weren't even aiming at the board, you know. But
the board's over there. You're throwing a dart fucking that way.
Then you picked up a book and you started learning.
Oh yeah, they started watching PBD, and then I'm like, oh, maybe I should face the board. And then, you know, I realized, okay, I was using my left hand. Let's use my right hand, you know. And so it's just a matter of, I mean, you're gambling every day. You're gambling with your money and your time, and you're just hoping that you're gonna hit, you're gonna hit black, but you don't know.
Mm-hmm. We were talking about it before. You have like people who do what you do are out of their mind. You do it for 4 years and you just said you're not profitable. Like you're working 70 hours a week and you're like, oh my God, I just sold $50,000 worth of jobs this week. And then you go and install them and you realize you fucked up the quote or something happened or you broke their window and you're like, okay, we sold $50,000 and it cost us $52,000 to do that. I literally just worked 60 hours this week and lost $2,000.
100%. I mean, 50K back then was a span of like 2 months. Mm-hmm. So 3 months. So imagine working for 3 months, trying to figure everything out. And then after 3 months, you look and your bank account's in the same spot after you paid for everything. You're like, it drives you insane. Like it actually drives you nuts. And at the end of the year, you're exhausted. You look at your bank account and it's the same. I would have more if I literally went and flipped burgers. Like, do you realize, like, I have friends that were like flexing on me with their McDonald's job. And I'm like, dog. But again, it's just that long-term thinking. I knew as an entrepreneur, I wasn't going to be a doctor. I wasn't going to be a lawyer. I had to figure out the entrepreneurship or sales. And maybe I should have done sales first. But regardless, I knew business was the way I had to go. And I knew that no matter what, as Ramon says, as long as you don't quit, you can't fail. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I'm going to keep going. I've got OSAP to help me. Like that 28,000. Don't get twisted. I didn't just blow all that. Some of that's in the business. Mm-hmm. And so I owe that money. But I was like, this is the only way. There's no other way for me. I have to figure it out. And my brother was with me. And so that's the nice thing is having a partner with you was like, you know, if we put our resources together, you know, you're good at the work, I'm good at the sales, we'll figure it out. And then obviously starting early. I mean, most guys try and figure it out later. I couldn't imagine having kids trying to start a business. That would be a lot of stress. And a mortgage and all that shit. That would be like, people really sue themselves because they wait too late. And then it's like, you can't risk your family's, you know, life, you know, for this business that might or probably won't work realistically.
How do you feel to be in America? How do you feel to be in New York?
Bro, honestly, I love it. It's, we were just talking earlier, we're definitely gonna be moving to the States at some point. Just got to get the business where it needs to be. And then we're coming down here. As long as Trump wins, if Biden wins again.
Yeah, but what are you doing?
We're all going to Costa Rica.
Yeah, if Biden wins and Trudeau wins again, then we're all screwed. I think everybody's going to be heading elsewhere.
We'll all take everything we got.
Yeah.
We'll go to Costa Rica and we'll walk around in fucking shorts all day, surf all day,
cigars,
live on the beach. It's a great life.
That's a great life.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm curious if you had to pick between Biden and Trudeau, who would you pick?
Whew. That's a really,
shit sandwich.
There's no good option there. Honestly, I'd probably pick Biden. Because he's
AR-15.
Like they're pretty shit either way, to be honest. But at least one isn't doing it intentionally. I mean, he can barely climb stairs, so. I'll give him that. He's senile. He doesn't know what's going on.
He shit himself on stage.
Did he actually?
Yeah. Did you see the video?
No.
He shit himself.
Yeah.
He shit himself on stage.
Listen.
Is that real? Like you're not shitting?
President of the United States.
I believe in my heart that old man shit in his britches.
Oh my goodness.
Live on stage, and then dipped out.
Wow.
He left.
Yeah, I got no comment on that one.
Well, that's crazy because he's the leader of the free world. Because like the world does look to the United States. Like
the United States controls the entire world.
Yeah.
If the United States fails, then we're all fucked.
Yeah.
We got hijacked by a fucking retard. All right, I don't want to sit here and talk about Joe.
Yeah.
So this is your first time in New York, right? It's your second or third
Second
time?
time. I was like 16, so it was a while ago.
Got it. And you're going to New York City after this?
Hopefully.
We're gonna experience New York
we'll
City.
go check it out.
We're gonna
See
have to do a part 2 just with your experience of
Stop
New York
playing
City.
around. Just move to Middletown. I'm opening an office. I need bodies out there.
You need
guys
bodies.
would clean up.
You guys can do
You would
gutters.
clean
Listen,
up.
we can work together because we do a lot of roofs and gutters.
Yo, that's it.
40% of our deals have gutters.
Really?
You know that? Or sorry, have roofs.
True.
Have roofs.
Well,
40% of our deals have roofs.
if we came here, we'd have to go. We have to go roofing because there's all you guys is your hurricane and stuff. Roofers make a killing out here.
Yeah, we got to connect with roofs though. We got to connect. We got too many connects with roof.
Damn.
You need gutters. We need
You
gutters.
need gutters.
Yeah, we need gutters.
Okay,
You
well,
can package the gutters in there.
Stop playing. Just sell the panels. You
panels.
want to be part of this culture?
No,
or
don't
what?
get him.
You want to get paid?
I knew he
sell
was
the
going to
panels.
do this.
That's it. We're
Listen.
opening an office in Middletown. We're gonna have a location very soon. We're going Saturday to scope.
Listen,
it
you're
out.
like 6 years too late. This is back, 6 years. I would have been like, bet. You're telling me 200K? I'm here now.
Bro, somebody like you pull up. Sorry, I'm from Canada.
Some
we got
good weather,
solar
eh?
panels for you. Some of that shit, bro. You'd be killing
What's
it.
the first thing you said to me the other day? You were saying, "What's up?" What do you guys typically say?
I said, what's good?
No, you did not. Nope,
Was
you
it?
did not.
I thought that was good.
You said some Canadian shit.
I honestly, I don't even realize it because it's just the way we
Yeah.
speak.
You said something to me, and I'm like, "What'd you just say?" Oh, when we got on the consulting call, right when we got on the consulting call, and you said something to me right in the beginning. I don't fucking know.
You'd remember.
Yeah,
That's
I don't
normal.
know.
That's
And I'm
normal.
like,
normal
bro,
lingo
what'd
for
you
me.
just say to me? I'm like, I have no idea what that saying was. But anyway, so all right, we were talking before about a lot of entrepreneurial stuff. Let's get into some fun stuff. Tony, you got any good questions?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I'll think of something.
You're rumbling.
I heard you guys don't have bagged milk here.
Yeah. Do you know they have fucking bagged milk in
What
Canada?
the fuck did he just say?
They get a bag of milk.
You guys feel like homesick without your bags of milk?
Yeah, it's
No, but
actually
like-
3 bags of milk that come in a bigger bag.
Yeah, honestly, it's probably not good, all the plastic and shit. But yeah, you just buy bags and you put it in a container and then you like snip the ends and then you pour it in, and it works. But
Yeah, but I don't
The carton
understand
makes
the
more
process
sense.
of you're putting it in a container anyway, so why not sell it in the container?
honestly, you're asking the wrong guy. I didn't invent it. It doesn't make sense to me actually when you think about it. Like I don't want all my food wrapped in more plastic than it needs to be. The carton makes sense. It's easy. There's actually a lid because you can't even like if our thing falls, milk spills. If a container, you can close the top. We can't even close the top, so it's kind of whack. I'm not sure.
What's
I'm not sure if you can
another weird
envision it. Like, can
Oh,
you
no,
guys?
I can.
Can you?
Yeah.
Like it's a little like a bag. You just
See
milk
a
it.
bag of milk.
It's a bag of milk.
It's like a wine bag. You slap. You ever slap the bag for wine? What do you know about that? What's some other weird shit in Canada you guys do that we don't do in America? What'd you call a coffee the year before? A double double?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, double.
Which is actually a very good thing.
You don't know
that
what a
we
double
should-
is?
Yeah, we
That's
should-
so
like
strange.
We should
espresso?
adopt that one in New
No,
York.
it's just 2 cream, 2 sugar in your coffee.
What?
So let's say I want a coffee double double.
Yeah.
Double,
On a
double.
coffee.
Any coffee
Coffee.
place in
Give me a
Canada,
coffee,
double
double,
double.
double.
What are you talking about?
I
That's
never
a New York
heard
showing.
of double.
Ew.
Yeah. You ever had a bacon, egg, and cheese?
Of course.
Okay.
We're not fucking in our igloos.
I don't fucking know.
You're right.
You're drinking bagged milk. Like,
Holy shit! You guys think we're like some up in the
I
North
just
Pole
don't
with
understand the whole
Santa?
milk in a bag thing. I'm about to come to Canada and start selling cartons.
We do have cartons.
We do have cartons, but most people
people.
have the bags.
Yeah.
That's weird
Got
as
it.
fuck.
Yeah.
It's an odd concept for sure.
I agree.
Is
Very
all the
odd
food
concept.
poison in Canada like it is here?
It is.
Everything.
I asked
It is.
that one
Yeah.
before too.
I mean, you guys are the ones with all the guns everywhere. For us, it's so weird. He was telling me like everyone's got guns here and like
Well, not
that's-
in New York.
not in New York,
Yeah.
but in Texas, you say it's crazy. I'm just like, it's such a weird concept because like for me, if I get in a fight with somebody in Canada, there's maybe a knife, but typically you're just gonna fist. That's it. But here it's like I'm scared to like.
Yo, but
cut-
here's the thing. If I have a gun on me, I'm not getting into a fight. Not that I'm going to shoot you. I'm just going to try to control the situation and calm it down. Well, again, when you have the ability to shoot someone at any moment,
Yeah.
and it's like, you don't want to get it to that level. Yeah, you're like, yo, bro, just relax. We don't need to fight. Just chill out, you know?
Yeah.
Compared to like, when you don't have a gun,
You'll
I
fight.
think
You'll
you
fight
walk
quicker.
a little bit. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
like, fuck it, let's do it right now. You know?
But you know that at the end of the day, most likely you're both about to go home.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like the guns, and don't get me wrong, I'm pro gun still in the sense that, you know, if the government does go completely south, at least you guys have shit. They've taken it all away from us. So we don't have nothing unless you're like up north and you got your own shit low key, underground.
Yeah, guns are pretty much banned.
Yeah, so it's a totally different lifestyle up
Yeah,
there.
I'm bringing him shooting tomorrow. It's gonna be his first time shooting a gun.
Yo, I'm excited
I'm
for
gonna
that.
bring out the big boys too.
Yo, I'm excited for that. I'm excited.
There you go.
Got some assault rifles or what? What are we shooting?
Of course. Shit I can't talk about right now. Be quiet. Shut up. Nah, yeah, we'll bring out some good stuff. I got shotguns, I got ARs, I got pistols, I got it all. So we'll go shooting. Hopefully I have my new gun, but I probably won't have it by tomorrow. But I got an all orange gun. That's
plug
completely
PV.
orange out. Yeah, that's a fucking sick
How
gun.
does getting a gun work in the U.S.?
Is it easy? Like, do you guys have licenses, or can you literally just walk in, show your ID, and pick up a gun?
So in New York, you have to go get a concealed carry permit, or even now you have to get a rifle permit, and it's a process. You have to fill out a whole
It
packet.
takes a long time.
Takes a few months, and they have to do background checks. They have to call references. They do a serious check on you in New
Really?
York. In Texas
Florida,
or in
you can
Florida,
just fucking walk into a store and pick up a gun like you're buying bagged milk.
literally, you don't need to be a resident of
Nothing.
Florida either. You could just walk right
Really?
in as long
Like,
as you're
I
a
could-
citizen.
Could I, or do they ask for like my ID? Like,
You would
have
need
to
to be a
Florida
citizen.
resident.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
No, you do not.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
I was just there.
That's wrong.
No, it's
You
not.
do not have to be a Florida resident. You have to be a United States resident.
No, you're
You're
wrong.
wrong.
Same thing in
bet
he
you
has a
money.
lot of conviction there. I'm
I'll
not gonna
bet
lie.
you money.
I remember being there, and we tried buying a gun. They wouldn't let us. They wouldn't let us hold pistols.
There's no way.
They
Tony, are
wouldn't
you
even let us
usually
hold
carrying a
pistols.
gun?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't have it on me right now. I put it because the last site visit I was at, won't bring it into people's houses
Okay.
when I'm working.
I feel like that makes sense.
I got
I'll
it on me.
carry it.
Really?
Yeah.
Y'all crazy.
It's in
I
my
don't
truck. You still have yours? You had yours on this morning. You got it? Yeah.
Wow.
Got my shit tucked, ready to go.
Stay strapped.
You have to, man. Once you have the ability to carry a gun and you have it on you, you don't want anything to ever happen when it's not on you, because you would never forgive yourself.
Yeah.
I feel
Like,
like
you
it's-
take it to, bro, we think extremes aren't going to happen to
Yeah.
us sometimes. Extreme shit happens sometimes, and a second later you're like, yo, what was that? Bro, I could be I could be protecting somebody else. I could protect myself. I can need to put whatever it is.
It all comes down to I'd rather have it and not need it than
Exactly.
need it and not have it.
Like, it's
Exactly.
it's such a crazy thing that literally we're born and raised just a few kilometers away,
Yep.
and it's like completely different
Mentality.
mentality
Yeah.
and like this is not a conversation you have with a fellow American. Like, you guys aren't like talking about, oh, like, should we have guns?
There's a lot of people that are anti-gun in America,
Really?
though.
Which is so stupid.
Really?
A lot of people
Well,
are
I feel like if you go to
anti-gun.
like
Even in
probably
Canada,
the,
it's mad
the
dumb.
blue
Now
states,
the only people who have guns are the criminals.
criminals and the cops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. But you can't even have any weapon on you for self-defense.
Okay, if you get
Pepper spray, no. Knife, no. Nothing.
So the only people who have guns are criminals and weapons.
Yeah.
That's fucking retarded.
Yeah.
but it's like if you get caught with that, you're in jail. I want to say at least 5 or 10 years. Like it's
With
It's
pepper
serious.
spray?
no,
Yeah.
I don't know about pepper
spray. Is
spray.
illegal. It is illegal. I
Is
know
it?
that for a fact. Yeah, it is.
It's fucking ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
It's a condiment in Texas.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the
Yeah.
Canadian government has too much power. That's the problem.
All governments. have
Isn't
too
that?
much
s- Yeah, I mean,
I feel like you guys
Americans-
have a bit more protection though. Like,
Yo, but I was just saying this before when we were at dinner. It's like, how bad is the government going to get? How in our lives are they going to be? How close to really having full control over us are they going to get until we actually do anything? Like, America's not America 200 years ago that would stand up and fight the government. They've done all these bad things, and everyone.
We trashed the Boston Harbor over a 2%.
That's
tea
what I was
tax.
saying before.
Yeah, you said that.
I
And
literally said
now-
that, bro. We the people used to be the type of people, when you try to tax us 2%, we
We're like,
went
"Fuck your
to
tea."
war. Yeah. We're like, we will kill all of you.
We turned the Atlantic Ocean into fucking tea.
yeah.
Iced tea in that bitch.
So, and
Or
then
the Pacific, I don't know.
one of the oceans,
One of those
one of those
oceans.
bodies of water, we did
Don't
it too.
care.
I mean, we don't even have freedom of speech though.
Oh, I know.
We have
Yeah,
hate
you guys-
speech law. We can get thrown in jail
We
for
have
saying
that
something
too
like
now,
that.
yeah.
You guys see
Which
like
is
Rogan
insane.
and Jordan Peterson, how like Peterson's Did you guys watch Rogan at all?
Yeah, of course.
Of course. Yeah, the one with Jordan Peterson, how he's like getting his license revoked because he didn't want to conform to what the government was saying, and now they're making him do a bunch of, extra courses on like social media training. Like honestly, Jordan Peterson,
the guy is one of the most intelligent human beings on planet Earth.
Yeah, it's insane. Jordan Peterson is like one of the real ones that's holding it down for us because he does not give a fuck.
He's a G.
He's a G.
He's a real G. Where's he from in Canada?
Give a fuck about the truth.
He lives in.
He's from Toronto. He was a professor at the University of Toronto.
Yeah, he was. It was crazy. You could have like 10 years ago. You could have been in his class.
No, like 2 years ago, wasn't it?
He's been on. It was before COVID, so I think it was like 2018, something like that. He was literally still giving lectures. Like you could go sit in his lecture. Imagine,
that is gangster.
Imagine you're just like, oh yeah, I'm in class with Jordan Peterson. Like, and obviously he wasn't as big as he is now, although by the end he was.
Yeah, still,
but crazy.
Just to say that you sat and got lectured by Jordan Peterson's no joke.
A fucking genius.
He's doing a world tour right now, going around on tour and speaking. It's some cool ass name too.
Those who wrestle with God.
Those who wrestle with God. Yes.
What?
Yeah.
I gotta look into that.
It's legit. I actually looked at the show. There's one in Jersey coming up in like June or something. Yeah. There's one in Jersey coming up in June.
I would go do that. Michaela would love that too.
Yeah. Let's talk about that for a second. You're very Christian, right?
Yeah.
Show me your ring. Show the camera your ring, because that shit is gangster.
Yeah. It's a little bit scratched up a little bit.
Okay. Were you raised Christian?
Yeah.
Very.
Okay.
Yeah.
Raised Christian or Catholic?
Christian.
Christian. Got it. Your whole life.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You guys go to church with the band and all?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Got the band.
Every Sunday. Worship, baby.
That's it. Yo, let's go.
You know who I just saw live? Brandon Lake.
Okay.
You know who Brandon Lake is?
I know a couple of songs.
Yo, that was crazy. His live show, so sick. You should really go see him.
Oh, it's crazy.
He's on tour right now.
I've never been to a concert ever. I've never been to one. I don't even know what a concert is like, to be honest. I can imagine it's obviously a live concert, but like I feel like being there is obviously a different experience than just hearing about it or watching Snapchats of people there. So,
yeah. But it's different. Like when you're at a Christian concert, like the vibe is.
Well, that's it. Like,
otherworldly, bro.
I think that's where I'm at now is, so obviously when growing up Christian, and then you kind of, obviously you go to school, you go away from your parents, you're able to kind of do what you want to do, have your freedom. You obviously, indulge in all the things that are out there, get a taste for it.
It's called sinning.
For sure. 100%. And then obviously eventually you realize, what you're doing is not very good and you got to repent for that. And so, now that's what I'm kind of on. And so I realize though, you don't really run into too many, Christian girls just at the gym, at work, or, sleeping in your own bed at home. So I feel like I got to start going to like some of these like concerts. Like that, yeah. I kind of got to go places where they probably would be because there's, all of us probably have really high standards. I know you're married, so, I haven't seen your wife or anything like that, but I can imagine you have high standards. So with you, Zac, and so for us putting the standards, and then we factor in the, Christian filter, it's just like, it's just
where you're not going to find a good woman? In New York City.
Well, that's why we're going to Texas this winter. Hopefully, we're gonna go.
The boys are gonna come to Texas.
Check out a couple of churches while we're there and see what the vibe is. See if there's any wholesome, traditional women.
They're on every single corner. Churches, not women. I'm talking about churches are on every single corner.
Well,
there also women on every corner.
We only got 2 tries, so we gotta do our research and come there to the ones with the most amount of youthful women and see if there's any.
Mm-hmm. You'll find something.
So I was gonna ask a question about that before. Okay, so what do you think? I was just listening to someone talk about this the other day. What do you think of atheist? Do you think there's any validity to it? Obviously, you believe in
atheism.
Yeah, atheism.
I think
someone who's an atheist. What do you think?
You're just lost, and not like a rude way, but like you can't think that everything was just like fugazi just happened, and like you're here, and it's just there's too many things that align. And for me, what I like to do when I'm like, uncertain or things, I go to YouTube and I go to books of people that have spent years and years in theology, learning things. Because I'm only 25. Obviously, I haven't had time to read all the text and all the different, go to all the, historical places. But people have done that. They've devoted their lives to that, to figuring out the truth. And so when I get to, listen to their podcasts or listen to their audiobook or watch their lectures, when you don't believe, just find someone who's done the work and shows the evidence of what you want to believe. And for me, I want to believe that, you know, God is real. Jesus died on the cross for us, all those things. And so, you know, when sometimes, and obviously you're going to have good days and bad days, but finding, you know, people that have done the research to show you that, you know, the historical evidence is there, at least for me, went a long way, you know, so that was for me.
Since we're on that subject, and we just talked about this morning, we were just talking about this. I don't know if you remember. There's a movie that came out within the last 2 years that will absolutely change your mind about whether you think heaven and hell are real.
What's it called?
After Death. It's the account of 9 different people who died and came back to life, and they all say the same exact thing, except some of them didn't go to heaven. They went to hell and they came back. All people, same story, like an undeniable account of what happens when you die. It will change your mind if you don't already believe. It's just funny because we were talking about that this morning. If you haven't seen that movie, you need to go see it immediately. And you know it's real because it's got a bad rating.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And nobody in the media has ever spoken about it.
Yeah.
Nobody. It came out in the theater and I was like, what the fuck is this? And I watched it. No one ever talks about it. You'll never hear about it on the news or anything like that. And it is the most moving thing I've ever seen in my life.
Well, actually, you asked me a question earlier about, you know, how do I know it's real? You actually mentioned atheists. And the way I see it is there's 100% the devil. Like, I think you've got to be kidding yourself if you don't believe in the devil, that he's real and that, you know, Hollywood and all this shit. If you don't believe that, then you're just choosing that and that's fine. But obviously the devil's real and, you know, there is the devil, then there has to be God.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's like, for me, that's the way I see it, is you can't have one without having the other.
Right.
And so when I know for sure all the shit that goes on in Hollywood and all the things that we're seeing in the media, all the, you know, Jeffrey Epstein, all like the completely disgusting shit, you know, even the P. Diddy shit, like all that shit, it's so demonic that it's like, okay, these people are clearly, you know, working with the devil. There's no way that God's not real.
Right.
Yeah. For me, it's a matter of just the peace that I feel when I'm at church, when I'm around people who are praising the Lord and that know that they truly do believe that there is a God, the peace and just the connection that I feel with other people. How do you fake that? How do you imagine that?
So to touch on what both of you just said, so you said that God exists, you know that God has to exist because the devil exists, but I think it's the opposite, right? So there is no such thing as evil. There is only the absence of good. And the best way to put it is like, there's no such thing as darkness. Darkness doesn't exist. That's just a state that there is without light, right? There's no darkness. There's just light and then no light. And that's how you should look at God. Like, and Satan, like Satan doesn't have power. There's no evil. There's just lack of good. So and the fact that we all know, everyone knows, and this is a big point Jordan Peterson makes too, is inherently we all know there is good and evil that had to come from somewhere. That in and of itself is evidence of God. How do we all know what's good and bad? Why do we know that killing someone is wrong? We all know it's wrong. Why? There's no way to answer that.
That is taught over time.
But inherently, it is known.
Well, that's because inherently it's known how to walk. We all learn how to walk.
Yeah, but everyone knows the difference between good and bad. But like,
I would agree with that.
Where could that come from? Where could that have come from?
Years of adaptation. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that point.
I do.
Well, no shit. You said it. I'm fighting back on it because I don't know if I fully agree with that. Because
well, you have to be. Everyone when they're born is bad. You have to almost be taught how to be good. Like when you're a kid, you already know how to be selfish. Like you're like, that's mine. I'm taking it all. But then you have to have somebody to teach you, say no. You know, sharing is good. Well, sharing is caring, yes, and it's good. It's what you want to be seeing, being selfless. And so, you know, you do inherently know what you're doing is wrong when you're doing it, but it's just the easier thing to do. Like
the reason I was asking about atheism earlier is because I heard somebody talking about it. Forget who it was, But he was saying we as human beings are naturally worshiping human beings. Like, we worship something. That's just how we are.
Russell Brand.
No, I don't think it was Russell Brand who
He
said
mentioned
it.
that. He said
Maybe he
that
stole it
we
from
always
them.
are trying to find something to worship.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Always.
We're
Yeah.
worshiping a dollar. We're worshiping a woman. We're worshiping
Drugs.
our kids. We're worshiping drugs. Whatever it is. That's how humans are. We worship. That's
Yeah.
what we're made to do. So it would also make sense that there's a God, a higher power, that we're actually supposed to be worshiping that. But instead, we get caught up in these other things and start to worship these things. You know what I'm saying? My point is, we're meant to worship as human beings.
Yeah.
So why is everyone worship something? Everyone in the world has something that's their God, whether it's women, whether it's drugs, whether it's money, whether it's Jesus, whether it's whatever it is. We always worship something, everybody in the world. So we're made to worship. So then it would make sense that we're supposed to have someone or something to worship that's actually good for us.
Right.
And
A
a higher power.
design is a sign of a designer.
Correct. And I'm just talking through this because I just heard it the other day, and I'm somewhat regurgitating what they said, and then also trying to finalize that point and make it make sense. But I think if we're made to worship, then there should be something that we're supposed to worship, you know? And it's not the bad shit, because when people worship the bad shit, you see where their life goes.
So he mentioned he's a Christian. Are you a Christian as well? And are you like
Raised Catholic.
Raised Catholic? But now, are you Christian or are you Catholic?
Christian.
Christian. And do you do you go to church?
I don't as nearly as much as I should.
Okay. And why do you think that is? Do you think it's like work? Like, do you think work-life balance?
Yes and no. I think I'm more religious. I think I live more by the testament of God than 95% of people who go to church.
How do you say that? Like, how can you?
The 10 Commandments, the way people live. I still have a belief. I've seen a lot of people who go to church that aren't good people, that actually don't live by what the Bible says and do things that they shouldn't do all the time.
You say you're under the impression that just there's tons and tons of hypocrites at the church.
No, not even necessarily. I just don't, and I'm totally could be wrong here.
Yeah.
But I don't believe just by going to church, it makes you more religious than it makes me if I follow the word of God more than you do. If I'm actually more living the 10 Commandments.
Yeah.
But you go to church on Sunday and you think you're all religious just because you go to church.
For sure.
And I should go to church more. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's my thought process behind it.
For sure. I mean, as you said, whoever's without sin, throw the first stone. None of us here are perfect, and I certainly had my phase where I didn't go to church at all, and certainly there's times where I don't even now because of work and things like that. Yeah. I just find that sometimes when you're able to, go and you all of a sudden feel just more rejuvenated, even though the people might not be living the certain way, and maybe that's just the church. There's some churches that are, I mean, we could go on about churches that are absolutely crazy, or,
speaking in tongues and shit.
Yeah. Or, going full woke. But at the end of the day, if you find the right one, you just feel rejuvenated, because the world, when you leave the church, it's just demonic pushing you the wrong way. And so by the end of the week, you're just spiritually exhausted.
Of course.
And so that's where, honestly, me, the music is great. I love going there and having the nice music, and it just kind of gives you sometimes it gives you goosebumps when it's just the right thing you need to hear. And sometimes the pastor, sometimes it's boring. Honestly, just straight up, sometimes it can be boring.
Of course.
But
I listen to a lot of podcasts about God and religion, and I'm still on the journey of trying to learn more.
Yeah.
But again, I just think church is more of okay, here's my best example I have of it. When I played football, you practice all week to play under Friday Night Lights. And that was all the hype. But that's all the hype. You really did the work the 6 days before. That was all the work to then try and show out in front of everyone and play under the Friday Night Lights. But what were you doing Saturday to Thursday? So that's kind of my thought process behind it, is if you don't practice all week and then you go to play football on Sunday or on Friday Night Lights, whatever, we'll say Sunday. Let's say you go to play football on Sunday, but you didn't practice all week. You don't deserve to play in that game.
Well
you're
said.
Not, you're not
but
good.
You should still come to church with me.
Fair. I know.
Yeah, this guy,
but I'm just saying.
A church buddy, man.
Yeah, I know. I need to go more.
To get
100%.
everybody. I'm always recruiting people to go to church with me.
That's it.
But,
so you go. Sorry, continue.
Go ahead. No, that was my final point. Go ahead.
Okay, so you go consistently.
Yeah.
And what church do you go to?
It's Calvary Chapel. It's like
right
right
here.
up the road here.
Okay, and very nice. And how long you been Christian your whole life?
No, I just got baptized maybe last year. My wife and I got baptized.
Congratulations.
Together. Yeah.
And before that, were you kind of
raised Catholic?
Raised Catholic? And so what, I mean, you guys both obviously Catholic to Christian. What was some of the things that, what brought you from Catholicism?
Catholic is like, you know what it's like. Well, maybe you don't know.
No, I know, but I want to hear like from you guys because
no, I would go to Catholic church. Catholic church is not very moving. It's very depressing, if you ask me. I never got into it. I completed my whatever it's called to get my confirmation and all that. And
Me too.
And once I finished it, I was like, oh, thank God, I'm done.
No.
I'm saved. Great. And then I never went back to church or anything. And then I just happened to last year go to church with my cousin, and it really hit me in a spot that was very different. And then my wife and I fell in love with it. And then I could tell you 10 different stories about how it's changed our lives in the last 10 months.
I could tell you two things. Number one is the reason why I fell out of it is because you're around that age, 14, 15, 16. Number one, you don't give a fuck.
No.
Number two, you're finding out all these things that the world has to offer, and you want to do all the bad shit.
And it's hard to do the good and the bad.
Yeah, you're going to go do it. Like every other mistake you're going to make between 16 and 21, yeah, you're supposed to. Like, that's supposed to happen. And then, so that was the first thing. But number two, I think a bigger reason why I turned to it is because the challenges in my life, and I think eventually everyone who's successful, I shouldn't say everyone, a lot of people who are successful you see turn to God because you can't go through the shit you're going through and not go put it on somebody else and not have faith in a higher power. Because if you don't, you're going to go crazy.
Yeah.
Or you're going to turn to your vices, the women, the alcohol, the drugs, the things you shouldn't do, because you have no choice because you're so stressed and consumed with things. I think you have to. So that's number one. And the second part to that is I think the world as a whole is very scary right now to live in. And at any time you feel like we could go to war or something could happen to the country, the grid can go down. There's always scary things that have potential. So to
We're
live
in the book of Revelation right now, Poppy.
to live and not want to,
and I'm ready to go.
You got to believe in a higher power.
Well,
If not, you're gonna go crazy,
bro. I can't wait to hear the horns.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie, it definitely does bring you a certain amount of peace knowing, because I'm like, you know what, things happen. At least,
Yeah, bro, you got faith.
At least I got faith. And the way I see it is, whenever I'm just talking to somebody, like, look, if you believe in God and it's not true, you lose nothing.
No.
Yeah.
And you've lived a much more enriched life. My life is
A more
so
balanced,
much more
well,
enriched with the church.
For sure. A more balanced life, a more, purpose-filled life, all those things. Now, in the event that you don't believe and the Christians were right, then
Hell is hot.
then you're toast. So it's
Hell
like
is hot.
so it's like you can't lose.
Listen, go watch the movie After Death. I promise you go to church next Sunday. Guarantee if you watch that movie, you will be in church the following Sunday.
That sounds like a good movie night with
Very
the boys,
good.
to be honest.
All right, I love it. This is a great conversation. Tony, give him your final question because I got to roll.
All right. At the end of the day, what's your boy's message to the world out there? Because
You go
everyone's got a
second.
message.
Go first.
Honestly, I mean, like, realistically, if you are young, because I am very young, and you are at that point where you're not sure if you want to make the leap or not, do it, because I didn't want to. I was feeling secure with, the traditional path of pursuing university and all these different things. And I was very scared to make the decision I did, but I am so happy that I did. It's a liberating feeling, and you can make your own path. So regardless of your age, but especially if you're young, don't be afraid to allow your youth to limit you. Just try to latch on to someone who knows a lot more than you do. Absorb whatever you can. Just give them time, because that's all you have. You don't have any money. You don't have any skills. You don't have any knowledge. Just give them time, and the money will follow, and, just so much value will come to your life.
No risk, no Rari, right?
Yeah.
Facts. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, everything's risky, And, you know, whether you go for a job, it's risky because it might not work out, and the business is risky. I would say just try and put as much time into building your skills up. Get a sales job wherever it is, whether you want to come and work for us in London, Ontario, selling some gutters, hit your boy up because we are hiring. Or if you're in, you know, New York and you guys want to sell some solar and make a boatload of cash, come work with these guys because honestly, you are not going to regret it. One way or another, you're going to walk away with either money or skills, or you're going to know for sure that sales are not for you, which either way is a win. But don't play on defense and think that you're taking the safe route, because the safe route is not the right
most
way.
Dangerous route you could take.
Yes, the
you
safe
might
route
be
is
successfully mediocre for the rest of your life.
That's it. And so just put the time in. I mean, we're at year now 7 and we're just starting to get traction. It doesn't happen overnight, but if you're willing to put in the time, the effort, and the energy, and you're willing to go places like driving, you know, in your car 9 hours to go meet some guys, or you know, just want to pick up a book and read it, do it, because I'm telling you, it will pay off in the long run. You know, we're a testament to that. These guys are a testament to that. And there's thousands of others that can speak on that behalf. Just go on YouTube and look up Valuetainment or whatever you want to do, because that's where we all started. It's not rocket science. You just got to be willing to put in the work.
Love it. And if you want to come on the podcast, DM us at 2 Dudes 3 Legs channel on Instagram. See you guys later.
Peace.